making sure you've got a solid brief to your BDs and your sales guys who are going to be out there pitching it. So giving them all of the tools necessary that they need. Google Docs is a beaut for it, and just build everything into that Google Doc so they can track, you can support as and where needed, and making sure you've got boots on the ground with your BDs as well, because it's always helpful. People always like to see a BA.
Well, if you have such a big portfolio and you don't actually have just one focus brand, then yes, have one each, brand that will represent each type of venue. So have, a Speedrail, have, a premium, have even a unicorn, which you can actually present. And again, just sort of for a location, for account, then, is important for the brand awareness.
Hi guys, welcome to Beverage Trade Network presents Do This Now. How are you doing, Sid?
Super, thanks.
So we have our two wonderful guests today with us who will be answering one single question. We have Callum Rixson, who is the brand ambassador at Monkey Shoulder.
Hi, I'm Callum, aka GB_bartender. I've been in the trade for far too long now, about 15 years. Sort of made my name in the industry with the Hideout in Bath, which is a whiskey bar that I'm still co-owner of. Whiskey is my passion. Something I've been trying to do my entire career in whiskey is try and change the way people think about it and try and get people drinking whiskey in a different way. So rather than just sitting by the fire, sipping it neat, trying it in cocktails, long drinks, spritzes, and really pushing that side of it. And luckily with Monkey Shoulder, that's exactly what they want to do. So I come together with them, and I've been working with the brand since January this year, and it's been great. So many amazing people within the company and amazing people in the industry that just have so much love for the brand. So it's great.
And Michele Reina, who is the European brand ambassador of Luxco.
I'm Michele Reina. I'm the brand ambassador of Luxco. I'm representing about 7 distilleries, and I promote the brands and looking after the on-trade and retail market for Europe, and I help around, in Australia, Asia, and Canada as well. So you're gonna see my face a lot. We are very strong on UK. Here you got an idea of our focus brand as well. So we cover from everything, from Irish whiskey to American whiskey, of course, and tequila. We do even do gin and vodka. You can see on the back door, actually, most of that shelf is our product too.
So I really want to, have this conversation for the reps out there or all other brand ambassadors, on how to prioritize on the top 3 things they can do to help drive holiday sales, right? Be it the strategy, be it the placement, the right 3 things for the month of November and then December. So I guess we'll start with Callum first, if that's okay. Give us your context on your office planning, what you guys do, and then how you roll it off on the street when it comes to distributors and your sales reps.
So one of the biggest main point, I think for anything seasonal especially, is keeping it really simple. Everyone's really busy, bartenders, sales guys, everyone is absolutely slammed. So keeping it really simple structure of what you want to do. If you're doing a drinks push, for example, keeping the drink recipes really simple and keeping it small as well. So rather than doing a holiday menu that's 15 Halloween style drinks, 1 or 2, the less options, the easier it's going to be for people to put across and for your customer to choose at the end of it as well. And then planning, what I usually do is I'll find out from bars first what they want to be doing and how they're working at the time throughout the year, because teams are always going to change every year. Bars are always going to be promoting different stuff and trying different things, so making sure it's something that the actual bars want to do. And then thirdly, really making sure you've got a solid brief to your BDs and your sales guys who are going to be out there pitching it. So giving them all of the tools necessary that they need. Google Docs is a beaut for it, and just build everything into that Google Doc so they can track, you can support as and where needed, and making sure you've got boots on the ground with your BDs as well, because it's always helpful. People always like to see a BA. They feel like you're really giving them something when you actually get out and about, and the BDs enjoying it as well.
Sure.
So they're not on their own.
So I think Monkey Shoulder is in a very different place than, let's say, any small or medium brand, right? Like your objective is not really new account placements, but it's more of that you are getting poured this 3 months, right? Over other competition, competing brands, let's say. So particularly in that case, like what exactly do you come up with incentive schemes, or do you come up with kickbacks, or walk me over how are you incentivizing that you are the pour for the October?
So the one that we're running this year is a thing called Barography. So it's basically giving bartenders, bar managers the tools to take better photos with their phones for social media, because social media is such a huge thing at the moment. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing for that is we do a barography session. So we're doing it in key cities across the UK. Everybody can come along to that, whether they're getting involved with the sales incentive or not, just to be in the mind of the bartenders and bar owners, bar managers. Mm-hmm. So we do a barography session, then we do a little R&D session afterwards, and we get a load of high quality photos that they can use on their social media. And then after that, they have the option to run a special menu. A special menu will be 2 to 3 Monkey Shoulder drinks. They run it throughout. All they have to do is post a picture on social media with the barography hashtag using the stuff they learned at the seminar. There's also online stuff on Instagram, like little how-to videos as well, so it keeps in the mind of people. And then they can win a party in January. We're doing 3 across the UK, sort of like a end of mad period in January for a big industry party, because that's what we're all about at Monkey Shoulder. We're about those big events and making people have a really good time. So in January, they can have that in their bar. We supply the stock. The BAs will be down there, whether it's me in the south or Jody up north. And we'll have professional photographers there, and it'll just be a great party. So incentivize wise, we rather than just trying to throw stock or money at them, we always try and give it a big event point at the end of it, because even though we are quite a big brand, we don't have the pockets that some of the bigger guys have.
What about off-premise, liquor stores, bottle shops? Are they the focus? I guess displays, are you aiming for floor stacks, and what are you doing there?
We don't do a huge amount of that, because we're still, even though we're becoming a really big brand in the off-trade, we still really focus our money and attention on the on-trade. But this year we haven't done a huge amount. We do a discount over the Christmas period, and that's about it. But over the next 2 to 3 years, the brand plan is more to move into the off-trade, because we've secured the on-trade really well.
Got it. So just to wrap it up, what are the 3 things you would advise to other brand ambassadors to really focus on if they were sitting in their office, in juggling with many things?
So get out and about, like make sure you're being out and seeing people. Don't try and book meetings at stupid times. I know most BAs have worked in the industry, so they don't do that, but BDs can sometimes not realise the busy times of being in a bar, so don't go in at silly times. Just be around, just be a face, put some money in the till, try some drinks. Plan your stuff properly, plan your routes out so you know where you're going and what you're doing, and you're not just walking around town aimlessly. Because when I first started as a BA, the amount of times I'd go into town, go to a bar, and it would be a Monday and they don't open on Mondays, or it would be 4 o'clock and they don't open till 6. So work out your plan and plan it out, and do loads of sharing on social media. Show the love. If you're having a cocktail in someone's bar, take a picture, tag them. They always appreciate it. And to your big bosses, it always shows that you're out about doing your job as well, which is always helpful.
Good point. Super. Thanks, Michele. Thanks for hanging in and being patient. So same questions to you. What do you guys do in the office, as a priority for October leading up to November and December? And then what are your plans to roll that out on the streets?
For us, it's really different because we are international. We are a small team. We're about, it's about 4 of us really. And we cover everything between Europe, Asia, Australia and Canada. And also we represent such a big portfolio, which every brand will have a different strategy and different events they're already commit to in different part of the year. So the first thing will be to check which market we're talking about, see what is the focus brand over there, and see what we already commit to in terms of events, and then we build around it. Obviously, there are high season and low season that we want to consider, and we want to make sure there is no big gap between enforcements on the brand awareness, or some sales strategy, and this is kind of goes along the on trade with the retail. We sort of both, consider both as equally important. Now, because of my background, I tend to be way more present on the on trade. In a way, I don't really want to leave the bar, and especially for me, it's all about relation, really. But they both equally important, depend on which country, and we have.
Got it. I think what can help is really, what are some practical things that you do to get new placements? Let's say you would train your reps to get new accounts, because I believe, I've sold as well. So I believe October is really about last chance to get into new accounts and product placements. And then it's really up to, the repeat orders and the stacks and the volumes. But, if you miss October, you miss the whole 3 months. What do you advise there?
So first of all, I think it's important to understand exactly what you should suggest in each account. Again, because we have such a big portfolio, it would be silly for me to go with a speed rail to a 5-star hotel, which I know they already had contract, and so on. We have such a selection from, house poor product to premium to super rare unicorn, impossible to find.
So to break it up, do you advise them to just pick 2 or 3 in their bag? Exactly. Are there any SOPs or rules?
Well, if you have such a big portfolio and you don't actually have just one focus brand, then yes, have one each, brand that will represent each type of venue. So have, a speed rail, have, a premium, have even a unicorn, which you can actually present. And again, just sort of for a location, for account, then, is important for the brand awareness. It's not always the same in terms of the sales perspective. Sometimes you just want allocation, sometimes you want volume, sometimes you just want trade relation, really, and keep that door, semi-open, because, then it's a big chain, maybe you need to be on a sort of waiting list in terms of, renovating the contract and so on. So it's, before I go out and about, there is a lot of admin, and the admin that I do is involving a sort of structure of what am I being, follow up and keeping the account existing. So it's not always necessarily looking for new things. It's a matter of grow where you already are. So in a way, you first meet the account that the brand is small. Now, it's 5 years that I'm working with Luxco, and when I started, our brand wasn't so present in the on-trade as it is today. The first thing I needed to do is to actually get people to know the brand. So I organized a lot of tasting, a lot of events, especially for the on-trade. A lot of consumer events, and the consumer event that I knew there was a network on the on-trade as well. So in a way, the way that I see that is bartender are not just my colleague, they are pretty much the ambassador, even because I can't be everywhere. And considering then it's such a small team internationally, it's really important to leave that information and the value behind every training that you do. For instance, I tend to do training about the category. Now, luckily enough, I'm working with 2 categories that are being, I wouldn't say neglected, but not necessarily the focus on their own, sort of style or spirit. So we're talking about agave spirit. Still, we are not so well. Agave spirit is always been a sort of mystery, beautiful word. Then is yet to be explored. And in terms of American whiskey, we're talking probably right now it's actually increasing so much. But Scotch whiskey, Irish whiskey, Japanese whiskey, only then you start to talk about American whiskey. And something then it might add value to the on-trade or, to a bar, is even just to talk about the category, explain, then rather than 6 styles, there are actually 42 styles in American whiskey. Explain how to organize your back bar based on, the mash bill or something that is a bit more they can use towards their career. Not necessarily about your brand, but, something that have a follow-up for them as well. So for me, again, it's get to know the on-trade and get the on-trade to know you and what you can add to their plate. Quite frankly, a liquid, it's just what it is. If you don't add some story and some value behind. I do have brands that have an amazing story behind, but then I think the best thing I can actually add to the on-trade is to actually do training or seminar about the category, and that's what I try to do, all around.
What kind of sales documents do you change in your office? Let's say holiday sales sheets or pricing special, just whatever 5 or 10 things that you come up with, for the entire distributors or sales reps, which is a new document set in their bag, and then you can give us a couple of examples of your elevator version of a pitch that you would advise for holiday placements.
It's really depends, because again, we create a different strategy with different accounts. Sometimes we have the retail line then actually wants just some tube for the bottle for Christmas time, some sort of combo together, leave something to the customer, and let's go to a different budget than, for instance, a non-trade account that would like some exposure. So, we actually utilize then our PR, and make sure that there are a few articles wrote about, what they're doing and so on. Another way to do it, which is probably the classic way, the easier way, I see as the lazier way, and actually doesn't bring so much, back, which will be just the A&P, or, retro stock, or, money support and everything like that. Now, if you do that, first of all, you get into this competitive market, which, as Callum mentioned, there are so many big companies up there that can offer more, and it's not a matter of, who offer more, because otherwise it's going to be a world of mercenary, and we definitely don't do that for money. So to understand the account, and to understand who's in front of you, to get to know your customer, and to understand their needs. So if it's a small shop and they might actually want to have a bit more traffic on the internet, or be more exposure and so on, then there are different ways. It's just a matter of get to know in front of you and then create a special assets for them. Obviously, we have different budget, so it depends of, for instance, if we're talking about retro or money support, it's not really something that involves so much me. Obviously, I can do that. If you get the direct contact, it's perfect. But anyone can do that. If you decide to start to stock, Bravo, Yellowstone in the back bar, you can start to do that certain way. If you want a retro support, the easier way to do that, and that was, I used to do that when I was managing bar, just call your supplier and say, can I get, in contact with the importer or someone that is in charge of a retro? I would like to use, cocktail menu and so on. But that sort of work for every brand, and every brand have that, already scheduled as, the budget that they need to use, and it depends on the volume. They offer you that much per bottle and so on. But there are other brands that are a bit more dynamic, I would say, which they can tailor-made that. So either you can have that, sort of everyone get the same, or no, I actually don't need the 2-4 pound a bottle. It's not really what is gonna save me right now. I need exposure. I need to do an event. I need to, promote the kitchen a bit more. Maybe do a pairing cocktail menu, whatever it is, and to talk with them directly. Again, the best way then the customer have to get in contact with us, it will be through their distributor and ask for the importer. The importer will know where they are, the limitation, and they will contact directly the brand in terms of brand support, marketing support, and so on. But yeah, we tend to tailor-made as much as possible.
Makes sense. Fantastic. What about you, Callum? What are the documents that you come up with in holiday, like holiday sales sheets or any specials or display, booklets so they can visualize things? And then maybe your elevator version of pitching to a new account?
So for me personally, I don't deal with the back of house sales stuff that much, thank God, because otherwise the figures would be all wrong probably if I was doing it. We've got people who are much better than me working on that. So from my side, it's more that exposure piece and just making sure we're in the right places, doing the right things with the right people. Again, as we've mentioned a few times, it needs to be tailor-made to the venues. People are busy, everybody's very different. We don't just like throwing stock at people. We obviously do because that's just part of it, right? But our point is really making an event of things. So with bars, it's finding the time that works for them to do an event and making sure it's, with Monkey Shoulder, our big thing's made for mixing. So doing cocktails and events that are a bit more out of the box and a bit different, which bars are always happy to do. Not all bars want like a crazy big party. Some people may just want to do a special menu listing. That way we would just go and support and whatever they need from us. Sometimes it might just be to go in and taste a drink and that's it, because they know exactly what they're doing. Whereas over this season with the off trade, obviously it's a huge gifting point. So making sure gifting packs are usually made and put together. We're working on our free mini pack as well at the moment, which is going to be really really good for next year because it's not going to be ready in time for this year. And barrel top tastings are usually good this time of the year because you just go into shop, you just have a few bottles open, people are milling around, shopping, just give out some samples. It's always a good time of year to do this because, to be honest, bartenders don't really want to see us this time of year. Unless we're just going in and having a drink, they don't want us going in and trying to sell anything to them. It needs to be done at least a month before and have everything locked in, done so you can sign it all off. Going in at this time of year, it's just not good, especially December, Friday night, 5 o'clock, trying to talk sales is just not going to happen. So just getting in early and making sure it's tailored to the right bars really.
Just one last quick one. How do you thank people for the year-end business? You know, what are the good times that you use? Like in US, it's Thanksgiving, for example. I would send, thank you for the business and so on, or Christmas. What's your thanking strategy to your customers? So
we do a big Christmas gifting every year to as many people as we possibly can, depending on budget, of course. We get some bespoke items made, so I'm not going to tell everyone what it is yet because we've just signed it off and it's all being made and sent out towards early December. So it'll be just a pack of Monkey Shoulder merch, and we have custom stuff made for Christmas for the year, and we send that out to all of our key influencer accounts, all of the bartenders that we've done stuff with over the years, like the Bar Monkeys, for example, or Panda and Sons, they were at BCB for us, stuff like that. So just making sure the people who have worked with us get that thanks. And then also to people who are just key accounts who have been amazing and people that we want to work with in future, just putting us in their mind ready for next year. So
nice.
Just a gifting thing. That's always, people love gifts.
Yeah. What about you, Michele?
So what we actually trying to do is Christmas time, and that there are those time of the year when the market is just a rush of fools, creating different stuff, and it's a bit more out of the box, or offer more in terms of allocation or exposure for display, and so on. We tend to obviously cover our part for Christmas and everything else, with special box, and everything that you can imagine. But what we try to do, and we actually succeed this year. This is the second year that we launched something, then it's a bit different. So we wanted to get the best out of a couple of consumer events all the way through right before Christmas. So we launched something in early October, which is actually finished on the 5th of December. And it took inspiration from a tour of distillery in Kentucky called Kentucky Bourbon Trail. and it's called London Bourbon Experiences. So you actually have 8 events for consumer and even on trade, and every event you cover different topics about bourbon with different tastings. So they actually are 4 tasting each event. Again, everything is free and open to everyone. You just need to register. And we have these 8 dates, let's say, for appointment for have 4 different tasting. 2 out of 4 tasting are actually whiskey that we ship from Kentucky, from US. They are not yet in the UK market as well. So we offer that sort of exclusivity too. But then we have bar involved, which is 7 bar and 3 shop. So the idea then, you have this passport, you go around for bar, you have about 2 months and a half to actually visit 7 bar. Each of those bars will have a signature cocktail with 3 cocktails. With this year was with Yellowstone bourbon, and the shop are there because every time that you collect a stamp, we offer something to the customer. So that stamp that you get when you order a drink, it will give you a welcome drink to the next venue, or when you give you a 20% discount on the shop, in the map. And then overall, when you finish, 6 stamps, you will get always a t-shirt, a baseball hat, a hoodie, a sweater, and you got even a prize draw for 1 year membership at the Soul Whiskey Club for 2 people, and in 62 tasting already included. So
I think it looks like you're designing a consumer experience, and that's what you're giving to the trade people as a thank you, free of cost, something like that.
Exactly. So, there is a lot of exposure for the bar as well, because we wrote a lot of articles, about 8 articles, and they actually, they're already up there, and there are more, then they're gonna talk and mention all of the bar, all of the shop that are present. So that's how we help our retails and the on-trade with exposure to our PR. On top of it, there is actually a retro support based on the cocktail that they do as a special menu, and then we reward the customer to go and visit all those bars, giving a welcome drink for every time that they order a drink, or 20% discount on the bottle. Also, they have a lot of POS, skulls, t-shirt, a lot of sort of promoting material, and then 8 events. Then it's free tasting, and it's sort of training, with different topics. So we can talk about mash bill or just about different style of distillation. We have, full whiskey included. And the last event will be the 5th of December. Now, this one is right before Christmas time, where everyone get busy, everyone get bombarded by information about what to buy or what to do. But the 5th of December is important for us because it's repeal day. So it's the end of prohibition in America. So we use that to do a big party. We're gonna launch, a new brand in UK, and again, this is gonna be, one of those events when everyone is, is invited. It's gonna be a lot of fun, a lot of drinks. We're gonna look after the customer and their own trade, and it's a sort of serious event. There is a big out of the box. So rather than celebrate the Christmas or Halloween or
I was going to say that this is the first time I'm hearing someone celebrating that day.
Yeah, Halloween.
No, the prohibition, the 5th of December. I've never come across that in the marketing.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we try in the past to celebrate like Thanksgiving, for instance, and it was okay. I honestly think we did it in the right way because we did it in a whiskey club, so everyone was really receptive about the American spirit and so on, drinking bourbon and so on. But it's not something that have that sort of eco effect on the consumer, not at least. But if we bring something that it's got that bootlegger vibe, and you create in a speakeasy bar, a exclusive party which is only for the 5th of December, repeal day. It's something new, something different. People have fun, and it's a bit more exclusive in a way. I think the best time of the year to celebrate or to promote your whiskey, you sort of need to create it, and then you are unique, and again, it's the start of something. It takes a lot of follow-up, and it takes a lot of patience to let it grow. But this is the 2nd year that we did that, and we had a great success. We needed to reprint. We actually have the first round of print of 1,000 passports, and there are 1,000 more coming, in 3 days. So it is going well.